start with the opening prayer. Please remain muted. Let us pray. We call the benevolent beings of light, archangels, and ascended masters to guide and inspire us during this forum. Our forum's vision is to bring the understanding, tools, and discipline and support for those seeking to enter the straight and narrow path, the road less traveled, that will lead us along effectively and steadily through the ascension process. Integration of the human experience with our divine origin is moving us full circle to achieve our divine potential. So be it. Amen.
We are also players upon a stage. Oh, there's something missing. We are also players upon a stage. The stage changes, the acts ring down, the lights come on once again, and throughout the grand illusion and the following, there is the undergirding majesty of the one infinite creator. All is well, nothing is lost. Go forth, rejoicing in love and in the light, the peace and the power of the one infinite creator. This is from Ra, the Law of One. Cause and effect. It is so important that we understand that everything that happens out there is the effects of how we think, feel, and create from our thoughts, from our words, and from our actions. That's the cause of what happens outside of yourself in the world around you. It doesn't seem to us that that could be possible because we think that everybody is also creating. And how does it all come together where we will interact with other people and yet be creating this from ourselves? And it's because of the way the matrix was set up that like energy will be drawn together so that we can see ourselves outside of our Merkaba, our energy field, and our bodies, and get to see the things that are wonderful and beautiful about ourselves, of how we hold true to our beliefs and our feelings, the good stuff that you know that is part of the way you think and feel, and also the things that you haven't mastered yet, that you haven't loved within you yet, that you haven't realized is holding you back from having all the greatest joy, the greatest abundance, and everything else that you're seeking in the world. Relationships, a very important part. So the cause that we have held as energy within our fields is actually manifesting in the world. When you pray or when you just sit and think, you're creating. You kind of need to get the idea that you are a creator of your own right. You are. You are creating with your thoughts, your feelings. Everything that's going on in your head is being created in some way or form. There are miscreations and there are creations that are blessed and good. Miscreations is when we're not working from our higher aspects. We're angry, frustrated, we say things carelessly, we judge, we do acts that are not exactly for our own benefit and others. And when we act out our troubled minds, we start to see that we're putting miscreations out there and they are going to come back to us It's going to loop back in the cycle because everything is circular and come back to us for us to address. Will somebody bring it to us, perhaps, or in a incident that occurs, or we just start to realize, oh my goodness, my life is not working out too well lately. So because we're at an evolutionary stage where we're ready to graduate from this cycle, this matrix, and this particular chapter in our life, so to speak, to become non-physical beings, we're getting to the point now where we really need to be aware of everything around us, everything that comes out of our mouth, every thought that we are thinking, so that we can be in command of our world. If we are just going to say things off our cuff and it's a little biting, somebody's going to suffer for it initially, and then it will cycle back and come back to us. And then we'll say, well, why did that happen to me? I'm so nice. Why did I have to experience that negative energy? Well, everything comes back to the sender. It's a cycle. Everything cycles back. So the cause of why our life plays out the way it is comes from inside us. It's projected through energy that's held within our fields, our minds, our bodies, and it projects out into the world so that we can constantly improve. It isn't meant to be making you suffer. You're not here to suffer. And once you understand why things happen in our life, then you start getting it that I have the ability to change this, to turn as an alchemist the base metal into gold. That's what alchemy is. We are all alchemists. We turn things that are not working out for us, that are not blessed, that are not bringing us joy and happiness and abundance, we turn it into gold. All we have to do is work inside and change our beliefs that were limiting us, that was not allowing the abundance to enter through our belief in lack. Once you realize the universe is what will bring you everything, and it will happen through your work, others, just right out of the ethers, bringing you the remembrance of the story in the Bible where the manna came from heaven, feeding the people of Israel when they were leaving Egypt, that food, that manna from heaven. It all was to get into your consciousness where your abundance comes from. It isn't from this world, but it comes through into this world through your belief in abundance. You let go of lack so that you can be abundant. What is abundance? It isn't just money. It isn't things. It's the abundance of joy, love, heart in everything you do, to care about one another, to want everyone to feel the joy that you feel, to want to see everyone feeling well, understanding life. That's abundance. When you do it, don't do it because you're going to profit from it. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Everything is being measured from your intention, as it said in the video. So if your intention is to make a fortune off people from the goodness that you can bring to them, then you got your gift. That was your abundance. But if you do what you do besides your work, of course you have to support yourself. I'm talking about your interaction with other people. You do it because it brings you joy to bring joy to others. If you go through an experience, the greatest thing you can do is share how you came through it, how you were blessed as a result of the incident. And a lot of times it isn't pleasant. So that they can say, oh my goodness, I don't have to stay where I am right now suffering, that there is light at the end of this tunnel. That is the gift of gifts. And that is bringing you a gift for sharing that. Why do things happen in our life? To heal us, to get our attention, to help us to grow and understand and let go of things that are not really serving us anymore. And also so that we can show others the way. So it isn't about these crazy ideas of people doing all these super spiritual things to become spiritual. And it has nothing to do with that. It's the discipline within you, how you conduct yourself, how you speak to people, how you feel when you're with someone. Are you looking at the couple of things that are just not pretty? Or do you look for the thing that's pretty, that you can love in that person? Not everyone has a beautiful face or a beautiful body. And not everyone has a beautiful heart. When you seek friendships, it isn't about being with the in crowd like it was when you're a teenager. It's about being with people with heart, people who want to serve, not serve you, but serve God, to help others to have the peace that you have from having learned these lessons in life. A lot of people don't have to go through what we went through because there's so many of us that have been there and are willing to share how to move beyond those limitations. Most people don't realize they're doing it to themselves. They're really doing it to themselves. And yet it feels like everybody's doing these bad things to them. When we take responsibility for everything that we experience and not look to blame anyone, but realize what other people brought you so that you could heal from yourself and thank them. If you read the words to the purge, you'll realize it encompasses everything that we talk about. What it does is brings you full circle. First, you have the experience, then you feel it deeply. Then you do something about releasing it. But first, you got to own it. We can't blame mommy, daddy, sister, brother, my teachers, my aunts and uncles, and all the people that have been in our life. We can't blame anybody because after you heal within yourself the pattern or the belief, those same people aren't going to act out in the same way with you. You will have a different relationship with them. because you healed it in you. And they don't have the task of showing you the same old stuff because it's not there anymore. But that's up to us to release it. Sometimes we're very angry when we realize something inside ourselves because somebody brings it to us. There I am. It takes a lot of guts to say that. It's so much easier to just blame them for your misery. I have met so many people that just won't accept it. I had sent a message to someone that I had looked up because they had complained about certain pain in their body. And I sent it to them and they were offended because what it said offended them. What it was saying about that place in their body, what they were holding. And boy, they would not accept it. And all I said was, if this has any meaning to you, then I hope that it's helpful. I never said that this was their problem or anything, but because it was not something they wanted to admit was part of their psyche still, they were offended, which was okay. I was fine with it. However, if we keep doing that to ourselves when we get answers to our questions of why does certain parts of my body hurt, that's where the blocks are. And some of those blocks are pretty painful, especially when you put it into words. Louise Hayes, refer to her list. So, because I'll tell you, she had it so spot on. So if you have pain in your elbow, it will basically be an affirmation to release what you're holding there. And a lot of times pinning it on the money. I've never seen any of her list being correct in what we're holding in these different parts of our body, the jaw, even our eyes, our shoulders, our legs, everything. Very good reference. And all you have to do is type in Louise Hayes remedies or healing or something to that effect, and a Louise Hayes comes right up, and there's a whole big list. Yeah. Some of you might even have her little tiny book that has it all listed, right? Yeah. So all of these wonderful gifts are all around us to help us through this journey. But it starts with us. It starts with us getting out of our heads, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, be impeccably honest with ourselves, because we're the cause of our life. We are the cause. And the effects are all around us, because that's what the matrix was built for, a mirror of you. Some days it's scary. Sometimes you go out there and what you're looking at, you're saying, oh my God, oh my God, what is this showing me today? And other times it's heaven on earth, because the goodness in you is everywhere, loving you back, being kind and gentle, being grateful for you being even in their presence. It's a beautiful thing. It isn't how pretty your hair was done that day. It isn't what you wore all dolled up. It's who you are and what your energy field is exuding. They feel you long before they hear a word out of your mouth. There was a little baby here today, and he was cooing like a little kitten purring because I was silently loving him, and he knew it. I taught him how to throw a kiss, and he's 1 year and a month old, and he was trying so hard to emulate the action of love because it felt so good to him. He felt the energy behind it more than the action of throwing a kiss. He finally got it. He finally did it. Before he was going, loo, 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 loo. But he finally got it. Love is all there is, my friends. And if you have that as the cause behind everything you do, with that intention, nothing but beauty happens as a result. That becomes your life. Does that mean nothing ever comes to you that's going to be a challenge? Of course not. It's how you react to it or respond to it that's important. The great guides around you and angels that I see all around you, they're keeping score to help you, to keep putting you in situations to see how you're going to handle it. That is mastery. And that's who you are. You've mastered many things. You have. And there is more. Always more. And sometimes even the things that you did master comes in another form. And then it's up to you to respond to it, not react. Every time we allow ourselves to be in an emotional state of anger, resentment, judgment, that's why everything Jesus taught us was so true. Thou shalt not judge, because you're just judging yourself. Every judgment we make on another, it's actually what we saw in ourselves, reflected back on the mirror of that person. And other people may not have the same experience with them. They'll say, why do you have problems with that person? They're so nice. It's because the contracts are not the same. The interactions from the past are not the same. We've all been together. We know each other very well. We've traveled along the timelines together. And we've seen it all. We've seen it all. And in this lifetime, all we're here for is to get over the things that we haven't mastered yet, to recognize them, release them from ourselves, so that we can see the reflection of the healed version of ourselves and even reach our Christhood. Some may think it's beyond them. Some may think it's sacrilegious to even talk about it. But I say you can do this because that's why you came. And as you do it for yourself, you're lifting the collective consciousness, and everyone attached to your heart is coming up with you, even your pets. It is so beautiful, so enriching, so glorious to live life consciously, knowing what we know, so that that cause of our makeup, our emotional makeup, our mental makeup, what makes us tick and be individuals, once we've cleansed it all, it is shining light. It is a beacon that guides others. The beauty of being that person that can bring that to others has no words that can describe the glory of that. You bring grace to yourself and others. God doesn't bring you grace. God gave you life and said, here you go, kids. Let's see what you do with it now. Let's see how you handle energy. Let's see what you do with the light. Let's see how much you can love. See, these are the causes that will bring the effects that you're desiring in your life. That's why we came. That's what we do. And when we don't, let's heal those things inside us that holds us back from loving freely. And it's not that you're pinpointing sometimes. For instance, it was brought up, how can I love a murderer? You're not loving a murderer. You're loving a soul. And in that love that you're bringing to that soul that went to the dark side, it brings light into that soul. You see? You're bringing light to a soul, and the darkness disappears. And eventually, that soul, that personality that brought that darkness in, will be cleansed. And that soul will have felt that it had accomplished what it came in to do. It got rid of the dark shadow that was overshadowing that soul of perfection. The soul is perfect. It's gathering information that you learn through your personality that came in to accomplish a lifetime. That's what it's about. So as I just started saying, we are all influencing everybody around us. We influence them when we're doing a wonderful thing, and our actions when we're not doing so wonderful. But not to judge it, because we have contracts with people, and some of our contracts is to bring whatever the mood was that day. It sometimes confounds you because you always want to be on your best game, but it isn't always like that. And it's like with children, they watching their parents or whoever is raising you, they're watching their actions and how they respond to things or react to things, and they will mimic that in their life. They will, because that's what they know. That's what they saw. Some of it is because they just want to be ornery with an ornery person's way of being. And other times it's because they really like the gentleness of somebody or the way that they are so loving. So just being you, no matter how it expresses, some days we're really doing wonderful in the sense that we're joyful no matter what's going on around us. We don't let it affect us. And other days, maybe we're tired or we've had just a lot piled on us, and we're not going to be in that stage. So other times it's because we're in a layer that is going to be there till we clean it up or let it recycle and come back another time. So the cause of our life is always because of us. And it's a gift, even though it can be painful sometimes, because what's happening is you're getting to see yourself in the world. Exactly how you're affecting others is how they treat you back. And you say to yourself, I was saying such nice things, but what were you thinking? Because that has energy behind it too. What was your intention in the conversation? To be a smart aleck? To be smarter than them? To be manipulative? Or were we sincere in our exchange? I don't like the thought of not being sincere, So if I can't be with someone because I honestly do not want to have a conversation with them because of past experiences, I just don't make believe it's okay. I just don't say anything. I don't get engaged. There's going to be toxic people in your life that you're going to let go of. If you don't, the toxicity is going to keep hitting you. Once you make the choice to let those toxic people go, it's because you've learned the lesson. You don't need it banging at you anymore. But that's their job. They play the agitator part. So you keep them in your life, you're going to get what they came to do. If it doesn't upset you anymore, but you just don't want to play the game anymore or dance that dance, then you step away. You have choices and opportunities at all times. Be kind to yourself and love yourself enough to be around people who you enjoy to be with. Yes, at work, it's quite the challenge. And most people that are practicing the presence is really struggling. Both my daughter-in-law and my son have made it abundantly clear working for a big corporation is not fun. It's becoming a burden. And they're both very unhappy with the way things are going in the industry that they're in. So it's time for all of us to come to conclusions within ourselves of how we're going to deal with what we have in front of us. There comes a time when everybody can step out of the world. When your time is there, it's going to be quite the blessing, and everything will change for you. It's a new chapter with new people, people you choose to be with, not because you have to be with them. And the good works that you did while you're there, that will help reverberate out into the world for those people and the people in their lives. Because as we said before, you start to see the effects of how you act in their world, and they start doing it too. It feels too good not to do it. This is the blessings that you bring to the world. Just being you, not trying to be anything else but you. Some people think being spiritual means that they got to do certain things and be a certain way. No, that's not true. You came here to be 100% you. Who are you? That's your job, to figure out who you are. You see? And once you know yourself and come to love yourself, because if you purge away the things you don't like about what you do, then you're going to really love yourself. And when you love yourself, people feel that in your energy field. When you feel good in your own skin, people feel that. If you don't, because you're always trying to fit in to a certain stance or a certain dance, even the way people want you to be, that's when you're not happy, because you're always having to be different with different groups of people. But when you can be genuinely you, wherever you are and whoever you're with, you're getting somewhere. And that's what the universe wants, you. You came in to change your world. And in the grace of it all, you help change the rest of the world. Because everything that you do that is good and holy and blessed for another is in the collective consciousness. It is locked and loaded into the program. And everyone can feed off of that and do what you did and feel what you feel as a result. So when you're genuinely you, The causes inside you are good and holy and blessed and settled. You're not in pain anymore. You're not doing things for the wrong reason. And always, always check your intention behind your action. Because if the intention is not 100% pure, it's going to come back to you in some way or form. And boy, does it hurt when it comes back. Because in so many areas, you're so pure and beautiful. And when that one stain comes back and hits you, it hurts. But it wakes you up to the fact that there is something still that I need to love. I need to purify it. I need to bring it to love. So with this in mind, the cause and effect in your life can be controlled as you work on yourself. We are always sending you inside to you. All the answers are there. Everything you need to know is inside you. You don't have to do any special activity. You don't have to say prayers the way anybody tells you to say them. There's many good suggestions out there. But God only wants to hear you speak from your heart. Tell God everything. Your worries, your thoughts, your fears, your joys, your gratitude. Bring it all to your own higher self. And once you make that connection, nothing will break it ever. Only you can turn away from your own higher self. But why would you if you feel the joy, that you feel the peace that passes understanding, that you still have the same life you've always lived, and yet it is so peaceful and beautiful because you changed. You recreated yourself into the image and likeness of God. Thank you so much for being here at the forum tonight.